Hey YouTubers, I thought, recently inspired by Cinema Sickness's watched and reviewed. This is going to be, I got some movies that I had been meaning to do a review, but I've watched them, some recently, some not so recently, but I remember them well enough that I can go ahead and give you my thoughts over them. Some are wrestling movies, some are not. So let's get started. First up, we have Hardcore TV. Episodes 260 to 263. This is really enjoyable. It's nice to kind of see the early start. This is all happening before the events of WrestlePalooza 98. So there's some amazing matches on here. I'll show you. It'd just be easier if I could, that way you could just pause it and read it at your leisure. But I'd say my favorite matches on here were Balls and Axel versus Candido and Storm, Sabu versus Al Snow, New Jack and Spike Dudley versus Darian Dordov, Danny Doring and Roadkill, and the video montage. Yeah, this was really interesting. I also checked out these two recently. If any of you guys want an in-depth review on any of the wrestling titles, or any of the titles, let me know. I have to do that for you. I have some of my favorite matches on this one right here. 538 with Taz on the cover. Little Guido versus Super Crazy. Mike Austin versus Rhino. C.W. Anderson and Wild Bill versus Danny Doring and Roadkill from the Anarchy Rules pay-per-view. And Tommy Dreamer versus Steve Corino. On this one, this is one of those ones where I really can't pick because everything was just really good because they were really had to add to another pay-per-view, so everything on here is just really good. Let's read that again. Like I said, if you guys want full reviews of any of the wrestling titles, comment below which ones you want me to do full reviews on. I'll be happy to oblige. Okay, next up, speaking of ECW, we have a documentary. This is Barbed Wire City, which is the unofficial, unauthorized documentary of ECW. This flashback and interviews people that weren't in the WWE ones for certain reasons. I don't know why, but it really does a good job of telling the story behind the story, so to speak. There's no Paul Dangery, no Joey Styles, but there are others here, and it all happens at an event called Reunion. I think it's Hardcore Union. It's later changed to Extreme Rising. An event kind of done by Shane Douglas, kind of a ECW type throwback deal. And the problems and tribulations she goes to, and the fact that Raven actually has medical knowledge, which is something I don't think anybody knew. Maybe you did, I don't know. And it goes on to tell the story behind the story. I found it really enjoyable. Got this in the monthly sampler, if you remember. Next up, we have Godzilla vs. King Kong. This is the American cut. I'm not going to spoil it for you. But I really enjoyed this movie. I liked it a lot. It's released by Universal, so this cut's really different than the Japanese cut that I believe the Angry Video Game Nerd reviewed. He said there was differences, and there is. A lot more American actors is the main one. They've got parts in here with more American actors, so you. But they've also got the original Japanese parts too, so it's unique to see how they changed it for American audiences. Still, if you can find either version, I highly recommend picking them up. Can't recommend this movie enough. Next up, Evil Roy Slade. I don't have to tell you where I got this because you already know. This movie was straight up funny. I mean, just a great movie, great comedy. Which has this guy in there, and, he was in the Adams Family. Gomez is always good. It just got some laugh out loud, over the top moments. And it's really an enjoyable movie. I'd highly this is another one I can't recommend enough picking up, especially since you get it really cheap on Amazon.com right now for about $4.07. Next up, you can pick this up real cheap now, right now during High Spot sale. This is the Heroes of World Class Championship Wrestling documentary. This one is also a little more up to date than the E one. You see here, it's got the it's 2-disc. Unfortunately, no wrestling matches, but it does do a lot like the ECW one I have here, Barbed City. Both these ones actually go, I think, more in depth than the Rise and Fall of ECW and the Rise and Fall of World Class Championship Wrestling do, or Triumph and Tragedy of World Class Championship Wrestling. I think these go more in depth. I think if you would watch them, I haven't done this, but I'm going to probably eventually. If you watch them, this with the Rise and Fall of ECW and this with Triumph and Tragedy, you'll probably get the full story. I haven't done that yet, but once again, if you're into documentaries, you're into wrestling, picking up either one of those, you can't go wrong. And finally, the last movie I checked out is They Live. Did I say more? Great flick. Roddy Piper does a great job. Great John Carpenter movie. Love the ending. Love the movie. Just recently watched this. You know, if you get a chance to pick it up, especially widescreen, I would definitely check this out, especially if you're a Roddy Piper fan or a John Carpenter fan. So yeah, those are my watched and thought. Until next time, this is the American Samurai saying sayonara.